Hey guys, last week we learned how to find the area of objects. This week we are going to learn about how to find the volume of objects. Lucky for us, there's only one shape that we're finding the volume for, and that is a rectangular prism. What volume is the amount needed to fill a 3D object. So how much it takes to fill something up. The formula for a rectangular prism for the volume is the area of the base times the height. This right here is from the star chart. It looks different than what you have done in the past for volume. In the past, you've done length times width times height. The area of the base times the height is the same thing. This, the length times width, makes up the base, the area of the base, because you find the area of a rectangle by multiplying length times width. And the base of a rectangular prism is a rectangle. So that's why we've changed it to capital BH. This is just the area of the base times the height. Let's look at an example. This is a rectangular prism. This is the base right here. The base can be at the top or the bottom. If this right here is 10 centimeters, then that means this right here is also 10 centimeters. So this base right here is 30 centimeters by 10 centimeters. We're going to need that whenever we start finding the volume. The name of the figure is rectangular prism. And every shape that you're going to be doing is rectangular prism, so you don't really need to put anything on name the figure because all of the figures are going to be the same. The formula for the volume of a rectangular prism, V equals capital B H. Remember, it's the same thing as what you've always done. Length times width times height. We're just calling it capital B H now. So what we know that the length of the rectangular prism is 30. The width is 10. And the height is 25. When we plug this into the formula, we're taking the length and the width, and we're putting that as the B, the capital B, because that would be the area of the base. So we're still going to write it 30 times 10, because that would be the area of the base, and then times 25, which is the height. So now show what you know, or work it out over here. We're multiplying 30 times 10 times 25. Because we're multiplying, we can multiply in any order we want to. The commutative property of multiplication says that you can change the order of the numbers and you still get the same product. So you could multiply 30 times 10 and then times 25, or you could do 30 times 25 and then times 10. It doesn't matter the order that you multiply in as long as you multiplied all three numbers. I'm going to multiply 30 times 10 first. 30 times 10 is 300, because 3 times 1 is 3, and add 2 zeros. And then I'm going to multiply that by 25. I'm looking at the basic fact, 25 times 3. Think about quarters in a dollar. If you have 3 quarters, you have 75 cents. So 25 times 3 is 75. And then add your 2 zeros. So the volume of this rectangular prism is 7,500 or 7,500 centimeters. And since we're talking about volume, it's going to be cubed or to the 3rd power. When we did area, it was to the 2nd power, but volume is to the 3rd power. So 7,500 centimeters cubed. Okay, let's look at another example. Okay, this time our rectangular prism, if you look at the dimensions, they're all the same. The length, the width, the height, they're all 5 feet. If a rectangular prism has the same dimensions, that means it's a cube. You could still put rectangular prism because a rectangular prism and a cube are the same thing, but its technical term is a cube. The formula is still going to be the same, area of the base times the height. We know the length is 5, the width is 5, and the height is 5. Plug it into the formula, 5 times 5 times 5. We work it out. 5 times 5 is 25. And 25 times 5 is 125. So the volume of this rectangular prism or cube would be 125 feet cubed. You can even have decimals and fractions when you find volume. In this example, we have the width is 2.5, the length is 6 25/100, and the height is 3. You still find the volume with the same formula even though you have decimals and fractions. But we need to change either this decimal to a fraction or this fraction to a decimal. I personally would rather change the fraction to a decimal, so that's what I'm going to do because 2.5 is easy to turn into a decimal. So I'm going to say the length is 6.25, the width is 2.5, and the height is 3. Plug those into the formula. These two are going to be the capital B, so 6.25 times 2.5 times 3. So work it out. 6.25 times 2.5 times 3. Again, you can work it out in any order that you want as long as you have multiplied all 3 numbers once you get your final answer. I'm going to do 6.25 times 2.5 first. Remember, when you're multiplying decimals, you don't line your decimals up. You line your numbers up. 5 times 5 is 25. 2 times 5 is 10. Plus 2 is 12. 6 times 5 is 30. Plus 1 is 31. Put your placeholder. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. 2 times 6 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. Add these up. 5, 2, 6, 6, 1. When you're putting your decimal in, remember, count how many place values after the decimal. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Did I do something wrong? Let's check my math. I think I did something wrong. 2, 31, 0, 10, 5. Oh, I should not have added that 1 there. This should be a 2. And this should be a 5. So this should be 15.625. It's always good to go back and check your work. Everybody makes mistakes. So if you see that something's not quite right, go back and check it before you move on. And then I need to multiply 15 and 625 thousandths times 3. 5 times 3 is 15, 7, 18, 16, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3 places after the decimal. 1, 2, 3. 46.875 would be the volume. The volume is 46 and 875 inches cubed. So you can have fractions and decimals with volume as well. Just like we did with area, we also could have missing parts, missing measurements with volume. We have a juice box, and we have the total volume here. We have the length, we have the height, but we're missing the width. So we're still going to have B equals capital BH. We know the volume is 144 cubic inches. We know the length is 6. We don't know the width, and we know the height is 12. So to figure out the missing width, we're going to multiply the length and the height first. 6 times 12 is 72. So 144 equals 72 times W. Whatever W is times 72, has to get 144. So we're going to divide by 72. That leaves us W. And 144 divided by 72 is 2. So the width would be 2 inches. So you can find the missing dimension, or missing measurement, by multiplying the two measurements you know and dividing it by the total volume. Okay, here's another one. This time we are looking for the length. It gives us the width and the height. The total volume is 900. We don't know the length. Width is 2, height is 15. Multiply the two numbers that you know. 2 times 15 is 30, so that gets us 900 equals 30 times L. Whatever L is times 30 has to equal 900. So we're going to divide by 30. That leaves L. Cross those off. And 90 divided by 3 is 30. So the missing length is 30 inches. And then one more, if we are missing the height. The cereal box is 5 inches wide, 3 inches wide, 5 inches long, and we're looking for the height. The total volume is 135 inches cubed. 135 is the total volume. We know the length is 5, width is 3, and we're looking for the height. Multiply the two that you know. 5 times 3 is 15. We're going to divide by 15. That leaves us H. And 135 divided by 15 is 9. So the height of this rectangular prism would be 9 inches. And that is how you find volume of rectangular prisms. Go ahead and you can watch this video again if you need to, or you can look back at the notes if that helps. I guess I'll see you next time.